Welcome into Minnesota Vikings Now. I am Tom Downey here with a preview of this week's game for the Vikings against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is a pretty pivotal game for Minnesota. They are 0-2 on the season, taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who have fared well so far this year in terms of, for the most part. They did lose, of course, in Week 2, a game they almost won and maybe should have won against the Tennessee Titans. An 0-3 start would pretty much be a death blow to the Vikings' playoff chances. Even being at home, Minnesota is the underdog in this game. By 2 points, the over-under is set fairly high. So, look, Minnesota's got some injury issues, so too does Seattle. Kirk Cousins, though, has played pretty well. But the offensive player I'm watching this week for the Vikings, how about Justin Jefferson? 11 catches, 136 yards, 1 score so far this year. A bit lower than I think the rather high expectations. KJ Osborne, of all players, has actually been the Vikings' lead receiver so far. I don't like Seattle's secondary. DJ Reed, Trey Flowers, and some guys most people haven't heard of, that's not a great cornerback room. I think Jefferson, so too Osborne and Thielen, could be primed for big-time games for Minnesota, especially if Dalvin Cook is out or not 100%. Defensively, give me Danielle Hunter. Brandon Shell's a bit banged up right now for Seattle, just FYI. Hunter through 2 games, 4 sacks already. Is that pace sustainable? No. Absolutely not. But I've been very impressed by Danielle Hunter. The Vikings defense has their issues. I think he's primed for another big game, though, after a very hot start to his 2021 campaign. So predict the score for me. Who you got and what's the score in this one? Minnesota against Seattle. I know Vikings fans want and need a win. I'm simply not buying it, and I apologize in advance for this. High-scoring affair. Neither defense has the most success. Some good passing attacks get going in this one. DK Metcalf, Jefferson, Wilson, Cousins. I got Seattle winning 30-28. If you're mad at me, I get it, and I'm sorry. Now, we're going to keep giving you guys the real Vikings news and rumors out there. We're not going to sugarcoat things and say, oh, yeah, Vikings by 20, and then everyone gets mad. Well, you said Vikings by 20, and Minnesota lost fairly handily. We want to tell you guys how it is. Sometimes we're wrong, but we're not going to just do it for hot takes or for attention. So if you want real honest reaction and news and rumors and everything around the Vikings, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Let's look now at the Minnesota Vikings injury report entering their game against Seattle. Dalvin Cook is the big one. More on him momentarily. He is questionable with his ankle issues. However, Christian Darrisaw, Anthony Barr, and Harrison Hand are out against Seattle. Hand was on the COVID list, also has a hamstring issue. He was active in the COVID list, but is not going to play. Anthony Barr and Christian Darrisaw were limited at practice this week with a knee for Barr and a groin for Darrisaw. Despite that, Minnesota has quickly ruled those 3 out. A pretty big disappointment, given that those 2 were supposed to be key starters on offense and on defense. But the big one is on Dalvin Cook, officially listed as questionable by Minnesota entering Week 3. Now, the Vikings are saying, hey, he's done some things. That's a promising sign right there. I want to believe that Cook is going to be able to go. My expectation entering this week was that, yeah, Dalvin Cook was going to be out there. Mike Zimmer did say today that he did some activities on Friday. The Vikings, I think, are planning on Cook being out there. He doesn't need practice time, but it's going to be a nerve-wracking situation, especially for all you fantasy owners out there if you don't have Alexander Mattison, the next man up, as well. So what do you think? Will Dalvin Cook play this weekend? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Type in Y for yes, he will, or N for no, he will not. The other 4 names who are on the Vikings injury report this week: Everson Griffen with a concussion, Eric Kendricks, or at least in concussion protocol, I should say. Eric Kendricks, a hip issue, Patrick Peterson with a toe, and Bashaud Breeland with a back/shoulder. Kendricks and Breeland went from limited to full Wednesday to Thursday. All 4 players were not given a game status after Friday's practice, which means all 4 guys will be out there for the Vikings in Week 3.